Hello everyone, welcome to the new session of microorganism. In this session, we are going to study about a type of microorganism that is actinomycetes. Actinomycetes. So, what are the general characteristics of actinomycetes? The term actinomycete comes from the Greek word atkes, which means ray, and myx, which means fungi. So ray like fungi. Actually, it is not a fungi, it is a type of bacteria, but still this is a myx means fungi like, and they are having ray like. So actinomycetes are called as actinobacteria or high GC rich gram positive filamentous bacteria due to their mycelium like slender and branch structure. So basically they are having mycelia like this, mycelia like branched and slender the structures that resembles to the fungi, right? So this myced, it makes the fungi like this word, and actually they are actinobacteria. They are high GC rich, they are having high GC rich region in their DNA, and they are gram positive filamentous bacteria due to the presence of their mycelium. This filamentous bacteria is like fungi. They appear like fungi, but actually they are actinobacteria. So let us study about the morphology of the actinobacteria. These filamentous are long, and it may fragment into much smaller units and less broad than that of the fungal mycelium, that is usually 0.5 to 2 micrometer in diameter. So very small they are, and these filaments are long. Their filaments are long, but these filaments can they can be broken into fragments into much smaller unit and less broader than that of the fungal mycelium. So fungal mycelium is quite broader than this filament of the actinomycetes. Due to their rod shaped arrangement, they are called filamentous bacteria. So generally they are like this, rod shaped like this, and that is why they are called as filamentous bacteria. They are present in group like this, right? So that is why they are called as filamentous bacteria. A chain of sexual spores called conidia are produced on their hyphae, and a few of the actinomycete genera found in the soil bear the sporangium containing spores. So they are having sexual spores like structure that is called as conidia, and also they bear the sporangium like structures, right, in when they are present in the soil. So they bear sporangium containing spores, and these sporangium containing lots of spores. So when these spores are released, they can give rise to the new bacteria, new actinomycetes actually. The colonies are powdery mass over the surface of the culture media, and often these are pigmented with the aerial spores when the aerial spores are produced. So they are having a colony, and this colony is actually like a powdery mass over the surface of the culture media. So whenever there is a culture media like this, so they are having a powdery mass in the culture media. This is the powdery mass. So this is a colony. Actually, this is the colony of this actinomycetes. They are gram positive, rod shaped to filamentous, aerobic, and generally non-motile in their vegetative phase. So they are gram positive, means they are giving the positive result to the this gram testing of the bacteria, that is either gram positive or the gram negative, depending upon the stain that we are using to these actinomycetes. And they are rod shaped to filamentous. Sometimes they are less rod shaped and sometimes they are filamentous, long filament, and these filaments are sometimes branched also. They are aerobic and generally non-motile in the vegetative phase. When they are vegetative phase, they are non-motile and they are aerobic. Habitat, where they are found, so they can be terrestrial or aquatic organism. Pathogenic actinomycosis are also there. So they can be terrestrial, they can present on the terrestrial surface, they can be present in the aquatic organism, and sometimes they are pathogenic also. They are morphologically quite different with each other and nutritionally diverse. Nutritionally diverse, what does this mean? It means that they are having different types of nutrition. They can be pathogenic, they can be saprophytic, right? They can be aerobic, and they are morphologically quite different from each other. So aerobic, facultative anaerobes. Facultative anaerobes means when the air is present, means when the oxygen is present, they can do the process of aerobic respiration. But when the oxygen is not present, then they can behave as a anaerobe. So they can be aerobic as well as anaerobic. So that is why it is called as facultative anaerobes. So they may be aerobic or anaerobic. They can be saprophytic and they can also be parasitic, right? So there is a different modes of nutrition. Classification. Very diverse with many polyphyletic branching and the domain to which they belong, that is bacteria. Phylum Actinomycetota and class is Actinomycetea. Order is Actinomycetales and family is Actinomycetaceae. It contains various suborder. This family is containing various suborder, that is Actinomycinae and Cornybacterianae. So these are the two suborders, and it contains various suborders, that is Catenulispora and Micrococcinae. So these are the two other suborder, that is Catenulispora and Micrococcinae. And Actinomycetes. Now important Actinomycetes. Actinomycetes is anaerobic to the facultative aerobic and filamentous to microcolony. So we have discussed that they are anaerobic, but they can be facultatively aerobic, right? And filamentous microcolony. So they are having the filament like structure and they form a colony. And Streptomyces has intact and the abundant aerial mycelium with a long chain spore. So they can having long chain spores also, and their mycelium exogenously bear these spore like structures. Nocardia, a common soil organism, is an obligate aerobe. So this is one of the example of the actinomycetes, that is Nocardia, and it is a soil organism. It is present in the soil and it is an obligate aerobe. Nitrogen fixing actinomycetes, that is Frankia. This is very, very important, right? Produces true mycelium and they are microaerophilic and live symbiotically with the non-leguminous plant. So they are nitrogen fixing actinomycetes. Very, very important, this point, and many times it has been asked in the examination. And they are living symbiotically with the non-leguminous plant and providing the whatever the nitrogen they get fixed, so they can provide to this non-leguminous plant also. Okay, so Frankia produces true mycelium and they are microaerophilic and they can live symbiotically. Frankia is a plant symbiont that produces root nodule, fixes nitrogen in the non-leguminous plant such as alnus, commonly called as alder, Sinethos, that is wild lily, and Casuarina, Australian pine or she wood. So these are the some of the plants, right? Some of the tree, in fact, and they are non-leguminous, and this Frankia form the symbiotic relationship with their roots. They are present in their roots, and Frankia provide the fixed nitrogen to these plants. Nocardia, a common soil organism, is an obligate aerobe. It is difficult to cultivate an artificial culture medium. The aerial mycelium develops multicellular sporangium. So it is very difficult to cultivate these microbes and artificial culture medium, and the aerial mycelium, the one that is present at the surface, terrestrial, and they form the vegetative structure. So the aerial mycelium sometimes develops the multicellular sporangium that bears spores. Arthobacter is also a soil inhabitant. They are coccoid, but when growing actively, they form irregular rods. So actually they are coccoid, circular in structure, right? But they form irregular rod-like structure also. So that is the Arthobacter. The third one is the Nocardia, Frankia, and Arthobacter. That is the third Actinomycetes. They are again gram positive, but some gram negatives are also present. Some strains are gram negative are also present. Some are motile in nature. Actinomyces is a typical mycelial actinobacteria. They are anaerobic or facultative anaerobic microorganisms. So this is very important. Typical mycelia. So generally the bacteria do not have mycelial structure, but this Actinomycetes is having a typical mycelial structure. That is a unique feature of the actinobacteria. They do not produce an aerial mycelium, and A. bovis grows in the oral cavities and can cause serious infections such as lumpy jaw. So they are pathogenic also, right? So A. bovis that grows in the oral cavities and they can cause the serious infection such as lumpy jaw. Bifidobacterium, this is another Actinomycetes example. It is a mycelial form, but recently its phylogeny places it is similarly to the Actinomyces. It is anaerobic, irregular rod-shaped bacteria found in the intestinal tracts of the animal. So again, one of the other pathogenic Actinomycetes, that is the B. bifidus. So it is also grow in the human breast milk, which contain amino sugar not found in the cow's milk. So sometimes they are pathogenic to the human. They are present in the human breast milk, right? Streptomyces is a mycelial forming actinobacteria that live in soil, produce aerial as well as the substrate mycelium. So they are having substrate mycelium also, and they are having aerial mycelial also. So these are the aerial mycelia, and this is the substrate mycelium. Right? So they are having two types of the one which is present vertically, that is the aerial mycelium, and horizontally, that is the substrate mycelium. Streptomyces, like the aerial hyphae, differentiate to form asexual conidiophores. In the chain, they are blue, gray, green, red, violet, yellow color. So the aerial mycelium, they give rise to like this conidiophores. These are the conidiophores, and they bear conidia-like structures. Exogenous spores. These are the exogenous spores. So this is the unique feature of this Streptomyces. They impart earthy odor to the soil after rain, which is due to the presence of geosmines, volatile organic compound. Some important antibiotics, namely streptomycin, chloramphenicol, and the tetracycline, are produced from this genus. So commercially this is very, very important, as they can give rise to so many types of antibiotics, and these antibiotics are very common, that is streptomycin, chloramphenicol, and tetracycline, and it interrupts so many harmful bacteria, right? So this is used as in medicine, and they very important, they gives the earthy odor, right? Very good smell. That is, we sometime when there is a rain, this is this bacteria that gives the earthy odor due to the release of jasmonine. Jasmonine is that volatile organic compound that is released in the atmosphere. Arthrobacter. Arthrobacter is also soil inhabitant Actinomycetes. Helicobacteria is only a phototrophic gram-negative bacteria required organic carbon sources. So this is one of the example of phototrophic gram-negative bacteria, that is Helicobacteria. They have a unique type of bacteriochlorophyll that is called as bacteriochlorophyll G. This is very important, and they are anaerobes carrying out anoxygenic photosynthesis. So they are anaerobes, okay, so they do not give rise oxygen in the photosynthesis. That is why they are called as anoxygenic photosynthesis, but they do the process of photosynthesis, as they do have their bacteriochlorophyll G, a unique type of chlorophyll, right? So importance of Actinomycetes, what they contribute to our environment. So contribution to the soil ecology. Useful, as they can break down the tough compounds or the polymers that can range from lignocelluloses to the pectin and also the cell wall of fungi. So they can break down these tough compounds, like they can range from this lignocelluloses to the pectin and also the cell wall of the fungi. They can recycle the organic material that is present in the soil and can control the growth of other organisms present in the soil. So they can recycle whatever the organic material that is present in the soil, and they can control the growth of other organisms because they are pathogenic also. So they can also help and fix the nitrogen content in the soil. That is one of the example, that is Frankia. The spores are capable of surviving for the longer period of time. So they are present in the soil for the longer period of time. In these conditions, the spores germinate to form a germ tube. These tube further develops to become a mycelium. So these spores, they can present in the soil for the longer duration of time, and they can present in the adverse condition also, and when the condition become favorable, they give rise to new mycelia by giving germ tube. Thermophilic Actinomycetes produces heat, thus provides a favorable condition for the decomposition. So they also help in the decomposition of organic material. The spores that are present in the soil are hydrated, and thus the motile spores are released. Producers of antibiotics, so they produce the antibiotic also, they produce volatile organic compound that give rise to the earthy smell of soil. So this is all about the Actinomycetes. With this, we have completed this session. Okay, thank you very much.